Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Saturday, August 14th, 10 p.m. Mountain Time, 2021. The models are in. The Four Corners region is going to receive more precipitation and a respite from the drought, while the West will be they'll be left in the dark. But the big story, 3 days after severe weather, more than 140,000 Metro Detroit households remain without power. Hours of powers. Power restoration expected to be completed by the end of the weekend. Keep calm. It's BS time. Now, earlier this morning, over 1 million people in Michigan were without power, and that hasn't increased by much. Well, it has. 2/3 have been restored to power, but within 48 hours, people are still without power. In fact, 1/3 of 1 million. Are you prepared? We are. Snow in the summer forecast for some Colorado mountains. No one is reporting on it. Thank you out there, Colorado. In fact, it's not even showing on the GFS model. That's because these snow totals are going to be above 14,000 feet, including 2.4 inches to fall on Gray's Peak tonight. And we'll look at the GFS model, and it's showing heavy snow in BC, down into Montana, which is obviously going to hit Wyoming and Colorado before the end of the weekend. Now, it's showing up to 2 feet of snow in multiple provinces, including BC and Alberta, Saskatchewan, not included. But what we should glean from this is that every single month this summer, I've been reporting there has been snow on the model. That hasn't happened in the last 6 years since I started the channel, which shows that North America is producing snow every single month, including the summer. What a bummer. Now, if we go back into the historical past, on the same day, today, August 14th, we're going to see some amazing information. Now, I just want to, this is multiple headlines in high resolution from Microfiche. Remember that? This is 1896 in the U.S., August 14th. That is 125 years ago. People were dying in the streets all over the country. 3 people died here. Thermometer not as high Wednesday, but suffering was great. 96 in Georgia. And many people just left dead on the streets on this day. 36 died in New York. Heat still remains intense. And prostrations abundant. This is August 13th. The total number of deaths from heat here today was 36, which is a market falling off from the record of the previous 2 days. How many died then? The total number of heat prostrations was 144. So that's over 200 deaths in a few days in New York alone, while dozens other dying in the U.S. And I know you're all going to say, well, they don't have air conditioning. Yeah, and it's also not that hot. So, global warmists, if you're watching and you're looking at these headlines, how stupid are you when you think this is the hottest it's ever been, when 125 years ago, it was hotter than you could ever imagine. People dying in the streets. When have you seen a dead person lying in the street from the heat? Answer me that. Never. The propaganda is complete, and you have all been duped. Watching Fred and Grace, heat lingers in the West. Barely. Fred is forecast to regenerate as a tropical cyclone. We predicted a hurricane when it hits Florida, so mark my words. Gulf of Mexico Sunday, bringing a risk of tropical storm conditions, including gusty winds, heavy rainfall to portions of the North Gulf Coast beginning Monday, which will be their fun day. Grace will bring tropical storm conditions to Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands on Sunday. Excessive heat continues in parts of the West, which is not as excessive as 125 years ago. Ho, ho. I'm sick of it. And the precipitation is going to be inundating the Southwest and the Four Corners region. Nowhere in California or Oregon will there be a respite. Nevada will also continue to burn, as well as Idaho. all the way until September. September to remember. But some of the drought-stricken regions in Montana are going to be picking up well-needed moisture, as well as North Dakota. And that's good news that no one will report on. Now, the IPCC's latest climate report is anti-science and anti-human. And we know this. We reported on it the other day. Hey. And we will not drag it out. But we will show you that the Greenland mass ice budget for the entire melt season has been above melt normal for the last 40-year average, except for 2 weeks when the mainstream media decided to report on how devastating the melt was. They didn't report on how high above average the entire season was, including an ice building event above 12 gigatons, which has never been seen in May, ever in recorded history. In fact, 6 gigatons higher than the highest recorded number ever in 40 years, which is more than double the ice building on Iceland before the melt season. No one reported on that, but we are now, which negates the entire melt of this tiny 1.5 weeks in the melt season of the summer. What a bummer. In fact, the entire composite of the melt season, including this gain, is a total net gain of ice. And this might be the first year ever that Iceland has never lost any mass balance in a single year, and which is bad news for the human population. Because if Iceland is this cold and that AMOC gets shut down, the Gulf Stream, well, Iceland is going to be the coldest place on the planet extremely quickly. Now, if we look at Antarctica, and what they're not reporting on is there is no melting. It is, in fact, as of 3 days ago, the second highest Antarctic ice extent in all of recorded history, and the third highest Antarctic ice area ever recorded. Second highest extent, third highest Antarctic ice area ever recorded. Those are some big numbers. And what they mean to you is that there is no catastrophic global warming. The polar caps are not melting. Fucktards that prep near state penitentiaries are idiots and are simply padding their pocketbooks with shitty textbooks and children's books that are barely incomprehensible to the adults. Period. Japanese city suffers its coldest summer temperature in 128 years of records. That's all of the records. And they look at this nice picture of clouds here. Noctilucent clouds persist into August as the atmosphere continues to cool. Now, these clouds in the upper reaches, even the ionosphere, are unprecedented. But we're looking at here is serious cirrus ripples, probably at 40 to 50,000 feet, which are being illuminated by the sun hours after it sets. Noctilucent much? At least 304 dead at the current time we're reporting on the Haiti earthquake. Now, this pales in comparison to 250,000 6 years ago during the tsunami event with a lesser earthquake. Now, thankfully, this earthquake didn't displace the faulting much, and it barely produced any tsunamis, minor at best. And that's why the death toll is low. That's why we didn't report on it, and we didn't show you pictures earlier in the day when we were reporting on the earthquake. But we do have some video from there, so we'll show it to you now.
Earthquake hit the island this morning. Haitian officials say at least 29 people are dead after a major earthquake hit the island this morning. The quake's...
Now, before we press play, because we're listening to that, there are 10 times more deaths than reported earlier this morning. But you watch the devastation and you make your own call.
This morning, the quake's epicenter was far enough from the capital city of Port-au-Prince that the country may avoid the kind of devastation that we saw from an earthquake that hit the area in 2010. But the nation is still feeling aftershocks now, and the damage is significant. This is new video just into CNN that shows the extent of some of the damage, and you can see part of the building there reduced to rubble. Haiti's prime minister.
Now, how stupid is this reporter who's been around for years to say the statement she said, that this may be a little different than the last earthquake. The last earthquake killed 250,000 people in an instant, and barely 300 deaths have been recorded. So just the state of reporting and journalism is completely pathetic, because any one of these journalists could have simply done some research, less than 30 minutes, to find out the facts, how less devastating this earthquake was going to be than the last one. We did that at 7 a.m., moments after the earthquake, and everything we said was correct, and we don't have to ever re-report on it. But it's the soft reporting from these propaganda institutions that we all have to be weary about. That's my final word. Sydney lockdown. Fines increased to $3,700 American. Stay-at-home orders extended. Complete insanity in Sydney. And this is in the wrong spot, but if you stick with us, we'll get to it. Seismic update. We have major earthquake activity around the Ring of Fire. It is quiescing. It's calming down. That's good news for you and I and all the people around. But we still have high activity on the South Sandwich Islands after the major 7+ earthquake down there. We still have major aftershocks, one just coming in, multiples at 5.0 south of Haiti here. And the Aleutian pre-tip, the extension out to the ocean, is still active, and we're keeping a close eye on what's going on there. Now, Tropical Storm Grace forms in the Atlantic, and it could reach Puerto Rico by Saturday. Second tropical storm, way bigger than the one coming in currently, could affect the islands and will, as a tropical storm, as it moves all the way through Cuba and Haiti again. Will it trigger a bigger quake in Haiti? It's moving over the same quake zone, and it's going to give us the same earth spot activity. We're going to keep a close eye on that. That quake should happen between Monday and Tuesday morning as it moves over Haiti, maybe Tuesday afternoon. So there's a heads up there if you're in the region. Now, whole country earthquakes during the last 48 hours on Iceland is showing heavy activity up in the north, some activity on the Reykjanes Ridge, but more importantly, activity at Kafla, which we have reported may erupt after the Reykjanes Ridge eruption as a 1-2 punch and literally shut down air traffic in this region. Now, according to Iceland geology, earthquake activity at Katla volcano is pretty normal and associated with the summer melt. Well, that's what they think. Think. We'll leave you links to all this. Now, this might look like a thunderstorm moving off of a region here, as most typically do. You can see that dark region there going up into the positives. But this plume of enhanced brightness temperatures is actually the signature of a subsurface volcano eruption on the island south of Ujima in Japan. And that is nothing more than a huge uptick at, let's do it together, Fukutoku Okunoba. Fukutoku Okunoba volcano, volcanic ash advisory has been reported on now for over 48 hours from the Japan Sea. And that's not the only volcano erupting there in the peninsula. We have Nishoshima also puffing and passing. Both volcanoes exceeding 8,000 feet in the last 48 hours. And the unique one is this one here, Fukutoku Okunaba, which is about 12 meters below the ocean and soon to be an island that we are all witnessing form off the Japan's southern coast. Coast of the most, if you're Japanese. Nishoshima also active, which should leave us pause to all the supervolcanoes in Japan and other activity that can possibly be there. So heads up to Japan. It is our opinion that that may be the next crosshair for a major event. Worldwide volcano news update. We have Fuego, Reventador, Futoko, Okunaba, and more. And these are all new names. Semi-Sepochnoi we know, but it's been puffing and passing to 10,000. Nevados de Chillán to 13. Nevados de Ruiz to 5,800 meters. Popo to 21,000. Krimsky puffing to 8,000. And we need to pass that because Shivalush has been hitting 15,000. Sabancana to 26,000. And Marapi, with its pyroclastic flows and uptick, is still kicking ass at 10,000 feet. So, uptick worldwide? Yes. Seismic update? Well, there you see it. You don't. There has been a reduction in quakes above magnitude 2.5 worldwide over the last 24 hours, hours and powers, but that does not negate the future potential for what's coming, and no one's bumming. Multiple earthquakes and tons of stuff from nowhere. Moving along. Where are we? There we are. No, we aren't. Now, I wanted to share with you this paper. Earlier today, when I woke up, Willie Soon had recommended this to all of the people that follow him on ResearchGate. And I got a personal email from a friend that said, please take a look at this. Now, please take a look at this. A tale of two scientific paradigms. Conflicting scientific opinions on what following the science means. I'm sure you've heard this. Well, I'm sure it's been shoved down your throat for a year and a half. Follow the science. Well, and if you've been watching the climate catastrophe debacle narrative, you've also heard this for over a decade. Follow the science. Well, according to this paper, which is now being peer-reviewed, I want you to follow the science, and I want your head to pop out of your like that. Because if you're a critical thinker and you just read the abstract, what it tells you is that everything you've been told is complete bullshit. And because of that, everything we've posted on Facebook for the last 30 years have gone against their community guidelines, including facts, science, peer-reviewed information, and they've termed it all as bullying. Yes. Not following community standards, and not sucking the teat of the CDC, which we will never do because they are owned by the World Health Organization, which invented the Wu flu. Yes. Including Fauci. The Fauci ouchie is the biggest conundrum ever in human history. Now, can you imagine if we allowed millions of people to take an experimental shot which does nothing except kill them? Yes, that's what's happening. And we've been blocked from Facebook for the next month. That means I can't share videos on my 13 platforms on Facebook. That means I can't even comment to your responses. I can't do anything for 30 days. So that means Facebook is gone forever, and our 190,000 followers on 64 communities all gone. Because I'm going to delete it. This is propaganda. Facebook is nothing more than a propaganda push to control the political narrative in your lives. And if you're part of it, well, then you're a left-wing ass-tart and you can suck our... CNN accused of fear porn for hyping the story of Broward County teachers dead from COVID without key context. I'm sure you all read this. And if you're one of the libtard leftist assholes watching this video, please unsubscribe to my channel and go stick a spike up your throat and end it now. We're sick of you. You're not a critical thinker. You're a sheep. You follow the narrative you read written by paid narrative schmucktards that write it. The key context here is 3 out of 1,000 teachers died on summer break. Had nothing to do with school, has nothing to do with masking children and killing them and making them rebreathe their own toxic air. If you don't know, read the box of the masks you're buying, you leftist idiots. The masks directly say they do not prevent disease transmission at all. They prevent nothing. All you're doing is making people inhale dangerous chemicals from China because that's where all these masks are made. And if you're that stupid, please, I don't want you in my country. I don't want you here in America. You're so stupid that you have no intellect and you can't actually research something that matters to you and your family or your life on the planet. Period. You're useless. to anyone here trying to survive and thrive and live. Now, a 3-year-old girl was fatally shot by a 5-year-old in Minnesota. And this is because of all the liberal schmucktards buying guns, not locking them up, and they have no idea what a gun is. They're like, oh my God, we need a gun now. Everyone has guns. Let's get guns. Let's get guns and fill them with bullets. Every single person I know does not have any gun with bullets that are available for anyone to pick up at any time, that is not within a safe or locked up, that no one can get to, even the shooter, the owner of the gun. If you have guns lying around that are loaded, you are the problem. This is not how anyone owns guns. No one has a gun that is loaded, that is lying out on a table or in their pocketbook that a child could pick up. If you're that person, we hate you. You are the problem. You are an irresponsible gun owner. You are an irresponsible human. You are an irresponsible American. And you do not deserve to continue to be free. And we will lock you up. I mean, I agree with that. Anyone that irresponsibly owns a weapon, a knife, a pencil, a pen, anything sharp, a kitchen knife. If children can get to these and stab adults, you're the idiot, not us. It's not our policies. It's not our laws in our country. It's your parenting. It's your upbringing. It's your lack of critical thinking that leads to your death. I just watched a story where a woman was shot in the back of the head by a toddler because they picked up her loaded gun from her boyfriend and they shot her in the back of the head during a Zoom meeting this morning. It was disturbing, but she deserved it. If you don't know there's a loaded gun in your house that people have access to, you deserve to be shot by that gun, in my opinion. I might be going out way at tangential here. But no responsible gun owner that I know, and I know thousands, have loaded guns laying out where children can pick them up and shoot their parents. These are idiots that do not deserve to own guns, and that is an exclamation point. Yet the media, the liberal media, funded by the Joe Biden Escape from Afghanistan project. Can you imagine how many thousands of women and girls are being raped and murdered in Afghanistan this week because of Joe Biden? I can't, but I know that's what's happening right now while I speak. That would have never happened under Donald Trump. I hate all politicians, but I love Trump because he protected America, period. Now, they blame the Plymouth shooting on Trump, but this total retard, he's a mental patient, and I used to be, but I didn't kill anybody, but this guy did. And they even gave him back his gun in England to go kill these people. So all those people that gave him back his guns should be responsible. If you have a schmucktard that thinks he can't get laid when he's 25 and he looks like this, then this guy's an idiot. There are a million people in America that would bang this retard because he has a mustache and a beard and hair. He's not even ugly, in my opinion, and I'm not gay. But this guy was convinced by a group called the incels, the incelibates, that he will never get laid and he must take people out. In my opinion, the incel movement is a terrorist group. Has nothing to do with white people, Americans, or gun owners. It has everything to do with non-critical thinking ass-tarts raised by their mothers with no father that lived in the basement, which is who this idiot is. He killed people he didn't even know, and himself, which he deserved, by the way. But he should only have killed himself because he's that pathetic. Now, these people become mentally ill, and I feel sorry for them because I'm one of him. I never was able to kill myself because I didn't live in these last 15 years where the mainstream media is pushing the fact that you are bad, white man. You're the problem. So This all goes on the Democratic Party, the left wing, in every country, in every state, in every continent, in the entire planet. And it's only getting worse. So where are we going from here? Well, this came out today, and I have to read it to you. I am not a supporter of the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. I hate government. Government has overreached for decades. And they're the ones that have screwed everything up from the beginning. But this administration takes the cake. In just 1 year, inflation has increased. Gas prices are off the hill. Afghanistan has been taken over by goat herders in 48 hours. And this is the statement from a slightly illiterate, but I think one of the best presidents we've had in years. And I hate politics. And this is what Trump says today. He says Joe Biden gets it wrong every time on foreign policy. I agree. And many other issues. Everyone knew he couldn't handle the pressure. The guy can't even handle a sentence on a teleprompter, so how is he going to understand what's going on in the U.S.? This is why I don't understand why he's controlling our country. Even Obama's Secretary of Defense, Robert Gates, said as much. Now, Biden ran out of Afghanistan instead of following the plan that Trump administration had left for him. A plan that protected the people, the property, and ensured the Taliban would never dream of taking over the embassy. So as we retracted, we would just simply bomb the out of them, carpet bomb them, and shoot back, and they would retreat. But what Biden did is he had a chocolate and an ice cream, and he said, no, let's just all go home. Now, who are the people that are advising this president? That's my problem. Is our country so pathetically advised that the president of the United States could actually mandate something that occurs that a whole country would be taken over in 3 days? This is the most pathetic expression of what America is about since I was born, in my opinion. And I turned 50 this month. In fact, less than a week. Or about a week. Actually, it's 2 weeks. Holy shit. I'm that young. I'm 49 for 2 more weeks. Now, after Trump took out ISIS, he established a credible deterrent, and it's called bullets and bombs. And that deterrent is now gone. Because Biden was like, no, the Taliban, they're nice. They just live in the desert and they're nice. So we'll just go home. Who is advising this non-president? That's my opinion. The government is a sham. It's a fake. It's controlled way up by other people, and they got it wrong. Now the Sydney lockdown.
Residents of Sydney and its home state of New South Wales will now face fines of up to $3,700 for violating coronavirus stay-at-home orders, which were...
Can you believe this? It's like less than 500 people testing positive in the entire country with a fake PCR test that the inventor of the test said is fake. And policy is being made upon this. Completely insane. Now, what's not insane is in Archuleta County, where I live, we have a group of people, a majority, a huge group of the voting population, let's say 20%. And we're kicking ass and taking names. And on Tuesday, we will try to pass a resolution 2021, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners to reaffirm the powers detailed in the U.S. Constitution. And when this gets reaffirmed, there will be no mask mandates, no bullshit against the human population that goes against the Constitution, including taking of your guns and your bullets. And it's a multiple step initiative that everyone can take county by county across the U.S. And therefore, it is resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Archuleta County, Colorado, that 1, in order to protect the citizens of our county The following actions will not be tolerated within our county ever, and that's Archuleta County, Colorado. Laws prohibiting citizens from the free exercise of their religion or their right to peaceably assemble as guaranteed in the First Amendment. This means you can't shut down our churches or our groups that are considered religious, whether it be yoga, paganism, or Satanism. You're not going to touch it. We're allowed to do it. And I love that. B, laws depriving its citizens of life, liberty, or property without the due process of law, as guaranteed by the Fifth Amendment. You're not coming into my house without a warrant. You're not taking my guns without a warrant. You're not arresting me preemptively because of some crime I might commit without a warrant. And no judge here is giving a warrant without probable cause. Trust me, we're in Colorado. The detainment or search of citizens without probable cause and proper due process or the infirm consent of the citizen. That means when these cops have a hard on and they pull you over in Pagosa, if they do not have probable cause, they can't search your car. If you weren't speeding, if you didn't break the law, they can't look in your glove box, even if you have 27 pounds of meth. And I love that. Get a judge to order it. Arrests with continued incarcerations without criminal charges and proper due process. This is happening daily across America. Do you know there's like 500,000 people locked up for not paying child support? Yet no one found out that they actually didn't pay child support or actually doing any investigation. It's based on hearsay. We have millions of people locked up for that reason. And that's because state prisons are funded by the federal government. The more people you have locked up, the more money they give you. So they don't care if they break the Constitution. As long as they have more criminals in their jails, they get more money from Joe Biden. Joe Biden doesn't care if innocent people are locked up. Have you listened to him speak? He doesn't even understand what his sentences mean. He's reading from a teleprompter, and he has no concept of what he's reading. He's a puppet. 5 years ago, we said that even if they're well-speaking like Obama, they're puppets. They're reading a narrative that was not produced by them. And if you want to debate me on this subject, I'd be happy to do a podcast with you and stick my foot right up your domestic utilization of our nation's military, operating under powers granted under the laws of war against United States citizens except permitted by law. That means you can't take National Guard or military into our town and point guns at us. We will shoot back because it's not allowed. And the arrest of citizens or seizure of person and property and the other action in violation of any constitutional provision under the Colorado United States Constitution is illegal. So, if this passes on Tuesday, well, we're going to give you a blueprint on how to do it in your own county. It's that easy. If the people rise up, now here's the key. The most dangerous weapon to a corrupt system is an informed public. And if the public knows they're the only ones allowed to pass laws, well, it could be bad news for the elites trying to suppress us. And that's a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance when we are all being squoze to the limits of our possibilities. Stand up, bear arms, do what the Constitution says, and do not allow these pricks to take one more inch of your sovereignty. The next time a person says, put a mask on, stick your foot up their ass. We just got shut down from Facebook for a month because our comment did not follow their community standards of harassment and bullying. This was today. And I can't even click on it for context because they don't allow you to see. Now, this post I saw on Facebook was not mine. And it basically bullied and demeaned any human in North America that didn't get the shot. You are killing children and killing millions of people. Holy shit, my earplugs came out. All right, I'm pretty heated here. Now, let me get this back in. Shit. So the reason we were banned Now listen, there was 32 infarctions in the last month. I had no idea about until they banned us for 30 days. But every single one of the comments was bullying on our end. I'm going to give you a little synopsis. Harassment, bullying. This particular comment said that anyone that didn't get vaccinated was killing their children and destroying America. And all I responded on this comment, after she bullied and demeaned me, was, how fat are your children? How unhealthy did you raise them? Maybe you're a bad parent. Because she was telling me that I was a bad citizen because I didn't get vaccinated. But the reality is that I'm so healthy that I've never been sick in 11 years. I never got the COVID. I might have got it and I'm immune. It just rushed through my immune system. But that is not a possibility for these Nazis. These leftist Nazis will shut you down. And Facebook shut me down. My post here didn't follow community standards. This is a friend of mine called David Itkin. Helped me organize the March Against Monsanto, who knows that food is poison, but he took the vax and he thinks the vax is good. How deluded are these tards? Pesticides on food and Monsanto and Bayer are bad, but the vaccine is good, David Itkin? You are so brainwashed, I want to bitch slap you. And every single one of these is me pointing out scientific facts that these people are wrong. But I can't post for 30 days because I'm giving them the facts, scientific facts, that will crack your axe. It's pathetic. CNN was accused of fear porn for hyping the story of Broward County teachers dead from COVID. These teachers died. 3 of 4 teachers out of 1,000 died on summer break. They didn't give anyone COVID in school. They're not even in school. But they're using this to mandate masks for children. When have they ever mandated masks for children for the flu? The flu killed more children than COVID-19 ever. And the mainstream media doesn't tell you about that. The fact that a 3-year-old girl was shot by a 5-year-old in Minnesota because a gun was not locked up, also from idiots that don't know how to own weapons. All the conservative people in my state teach their children from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 how dangerous weapons are, how to shoot them, and what they're used for. How to store them, how to lock them, and that they should never be available to anyone to get to ever unless we're shooting at the range safely. The people that get shot to death by their kids have no idea about the danger of weapons and how they should use them, secure them, or teach their children about them. This is the problem. Could you imagine if you laid meth or crack around your house unlocked and your kids got to it? You go to jail. Same thing with a weapon. It's common sense. People getting shot by weapons by their children deserve it, in my opinion, because they are that clueless on the dangers of a gun. Hello, guns are made to kill animals and people, period. Why would you leave it loaded, laying around for anyone to get to? That means you want to die from your gun. If you own a gun and it's not secured, I guarantee the chances of you dying from that weapon increase thousands of percent because it's a weapon designed to kill you. Could you imagine if we all kept nuclear bombs in the kitchen unsecured with a button that says blow up? How many kids would push that button? Lots of them. That's why we don't do that. Critical thinking is dead. People that own deadly weapons that leave them in their purse loaded with children around deserve to be shot by those weapons. It's my opinion that these people we are calling the retards. I know that's a bad word, but I'll continue to use it for people like this, the Plymouth shooting. This retard, Jake Davidson. And all they said in the first 2 days was he was a Trump supporter. Yeah, it's all Trump's fault. No, It's because a group called the Incels told him that he was never going to get laid and he killed a bunch of people and himself. How tragic is that? Why don't we ban the Incels driving mass shootings? No, just take the guns away. Well, this is the world we're living in. Sick, and I'm sick of it. Are you? That was a double take on the entire podcast that I was happily regurgitating twice because this is going to be taken down from YouTube probably. This may be the end of the channel. Subscribe now, or you will not get the videos on Patreon, on Odyssey, or on BitChute. That's where we'll be when we go bye-bye, which is soon. Because we're sick of this shit. They are planning for a race war. They're manipulating this population to hate each other. And we're in a good position to hold our ground. Are you ready? That's a boom. The knowledge. The destruction of humanity is coming from the top, not from the bottom. They are manufacturing it now. Be safe. We love you. That's a boom.